Cheryl, the Battle of Nashville tonight was more dignified than the first presidential debate, perhaps because of the threat that microphones would be cut off. Regardless, there were more succinct thoughts put forth by each candidate without the other one interrupting and bleeding over the other, offering some statements to be fact-checked.
There is a spike. There was a spike in Florida, and it's now gone. There was a very big spike in Texas. It's now gone. There was a very big spike in Arizona. It's now gone. And there are some spikes and surges in other places. They will soon be gone.
During the first debate topic, COVID-19, President Donald Trump overstated how those three states are doing. Coronavirus cases are trending upward in all three states, and hospitalizations are up in 2 of them.
The expectation is we'll have another 200,000 Americans dead between now and the end of the year. If we just wore these masks, the president's own advisors have told him, we could save 100,000 lives.
The president's advisors haven't used that estimate, according to ABC Truth Squatters. Although the figure may be accurate, the president's CDC chief has not made such a statement. Then there was the swine flu item.
And frankly, he ran the H1N1 swine flu, and it was a total disaster, far less lethal, but it was a total disaster. Had that had this kind of numbers, 700,000 people would be dead right now.
Fact check shows that while the president is correct that the H1N1 virus was less lethal than COVID, it is misleading to call the Obama administration's response a failure. The CDC credits the lack of deaths to the Obama administration's response. And on trade with China.
He has caused the deficit of China to go up, not down, with China, up, not down.
That is mostly false, according to the fact check. The gap between what America and China exports and imports is fluid, largely depending on how you do the math. And finally, political fundraising.
You have raised a lot of money, tremendous amounts of money. And every time you raise money, deals are made, Joe. I could raise so much more money. As president and as somebody that knows most of those people, I could call the heads of Wall Street, the heads of every company in America. I would blow away every record, but I don't want to do that because it puts me in a bad position.
The fact check finds that misleading, as the president regularly holds private fundraising events that raise millions. The final fact check is a little reminiscent of Donald Trump's challenge of Barack Obama's Hawaii homestead 4 years ago. President Trump at one point tonight accusing Joe Biden of not coming from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Then the president said Biden lived there for a short period of time. The fact is Mr. Biden was born in Scranton and lived there until he was 10. There was no challenge of the president's birthplace, which has always been Queens, New York.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.